everyone. Hello, good day, good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I am Dr. Vernita Glenn White. I go by Dr. V. Dr. V. Dr. V. Yes, I go by Dr. V. I am a lot of things. I am a strategist and consultant, speaker, author, all those great things. And I am really working towards, let me see. And if it sounds like I struggle with saying the title, it's because, you really want people to know what you do and what you're about right out the bat, right? Right out the gate, right off the bat, right out the gate. So honestly, I was thinking about this the other night, and some people may watch this, and I was like, I thought you changed your name already. Hey, whatever. So this is all a part of really growing and doing another side of the business. Now, I'm not confused at what I do. What I do is I help high achieving women who are ambitious, driven, all of those great things, vibe higher in their influence, brilliance, and excellence so they can dominate their lives beyond their profession, titles, and degrees to have the dynamic, kick-a life they know that they deserve. And what that means is a lot of times professional women, women in these high-performing jobs and things like that, they are great at their professional lives. Otherwise, they wouldn't have reached a certain level, but sometimes they forget about life. Sometimes they forget about the other areas that they want to excel in, or they just forget to, they don't think about it because they've been so laser focused. And I've done that. The reason why I wanted to help those women is because I was one of those women, and wrote a book all about that, Embracing Grit for Greatness, Embracing Grit for Greatness, Embracing Grit for Greatness. It is on Amazon. You can also find it on embracinggritforgreatnessbook.com. There are some things that are attached to that, but I wrote this book because people always ask, how did you transition different things, and how did you do all the things that you do? And me, I'm looking like I was just doing my job, or because I was very career focused. And then some people are like, no, we noticed that there was a different change for you. We noticed that there was a different change in your life. And it really all started when I went to this retreat. Hi, Coach Tabitha. It all started when I went to this retreat. And I was like, yep, that's what I needed to do. But people saw a difference when I came back, and they would ask me, what specifically did I do? And then so I wrote the book to categorize like a lot of the exercises I was going through, what was going on in my life, and how I focused so much on my professional life that my personal life was, right, trash. So, and that's why, like, I say that I'm a life and empowerment strategist, but people are like, I don't know what that is. And it's really an igniter, a goal digger. That term is used a lot for people. But the women that have been attracted to me to work with me or ask me questions or things like that, they are fine, but they're like, okay, but this other side though, what else can I do with this degree? I know a lot of people have asked me like how to transition to higher ed, or how to transition to somewhere else, or how to use what they do in their professional life to their personal life. And I was like, at first, like, why are y'all asking me that? And, and they see the things that I've done. So I was like, oh, I guess there is something to that, because I do believe that all of our brilliance, and that's why the series Building Brilliance Awareness is all of the gifts and talents. And whether you're traditionally educated, and I've made that statement before, I've made that statement, whether you're traditionally educated. And I started saying that because some people who have advanced in careers, without all of this additional education, they may have had some certifications, or they took some high, it's a lot of good training programs out there that's not attached to a university or institution. That's what I want to say. So yeah, women who've done that, and then all of those skill sets are not meant to just be on somebody's job, not somebody's corporate job. So what can you do in your, in your life. The other day we talked about having 5, 7, 8 streams of income. I believe all of your gifts, talents, and all of that relates to that, and not just pouring into someone's job. Also, the women that have come, they're like, okay, my professional life, we're good at this point, but I know that there's something more inside of me. And I know that sounds cliche because everyone is talking about that. But then I used to think like, well, why would someone come to me when they can just go to this person? Well, because I have a unique skill set that the other person does not have. Whether they're more popular or not, or whether they're known or not, they're not me, I am not them. So the women, and then, you know, we all have our unique ways to approach things. And then I used to be like, well, everyone's out here trying to be a coach, or everyone's out here trying to do this, that, and whatever. And that's not true. I talked about that the other day. So women would come to me and talk about, I was like, do you even think about the other areas of your lives? Like, what do you really want to do? And the reason why I brought this up, I almost lost my train of thought, is because I believe that if we're not meant to only work our jobs or in our careers, but if we pulled out those burning desires that have been placed in our hearts, I truly believe that our houses, our communities, neighborhoods, and literally the world would be a better place if we did that. You know, we are someone's solution, and it doesn't always have to be on the big stage or in front of, you know, millions of people. Your solution, it could just be in your household or in your family, you know, whatever, that one decision that you decided to pay attention to, whether it was write the book, open up a youth center, start a private practice, what else? If you want to do a daycare center, if you wanted to be a speaker, all of those things, right? If we actually did those things that we've desired, we don't know who's on the other side waiting for our solution. All right, so that was a long way to say like what I do. So I'll do like the title Igniter and Gold Digger. I just have to make sure I enunciate that correctly so people don't think that I'm a gold digger. Well, kind of. I mean, our gifts and talents are gold too. All right, so this is day 25. I am excited. I am super excited about this. We're going to talk about decisions very quickly. Decisions. And I'm going to use the example that I wrote in my book. I'm going to use the example because that is one that I struggled with for a long time. And as I went on this personal growth journey to figure out, okay, I need to change my life because I can't keep living like this. One of the things that I struggled with was the decision about what happened with my mother's house when she passed away. And I won't go too much into the details, but she died of breast cancer, and people think after the death that's over, but that's not true. There's still that's really just the beginning, because then life really happens and the reality really sets in, and then the business part and everything really comes in to play. So we're done. Okay. Long story short, because it can't be quite long. The house ended up being, I used to say the house was taken from me, but that's not true. That means I didn't have any power. The house ended up being sold to someone else. It was out of our possession. My grandmother and I and my sister. It was out of our possession because of some one legal word. It was the difference between an and or. Who knew how powerful and or were in the legal space? I didn't know that. So we were thinking, because my grandparents were on, I think, like the deed or something of my mom's house, then it would automatically go to my grandmother, because my grandfather passed away 3 weeks before my mom. So we thought it would automatically go to my grandmother, and then, to my sister and I. My mom did not have a will. And, she was like, well, I don't have much, because she's automatically thinking that it would go to my grandparents. Because they were on the deed or not the mortgage, something, it's out of my head. But anyway, so I used to beat myself up because I entrusted a lawyer to walk me through this process, and it wasn't a real estate lawyer. I think it wasn't a lawyer that typically handled that specific area. This was a lawyer who, they were a good lawyer in what they did, but they just didn't do that part. And I'll be honest, I didn't know that. I thought if you know the law, you should know the law. But then thinking about it, just like a doctor, you have a general doctor and then you have specialized doctors. The general doctor may know like the terminology and the surface level information, but they didn't go to the specialized place to get the deep root in that knowledge, right? So same thing like with educators. There are educators like general educators, or if you think about K-12, they're elementary educators because they're supposed to know all the subjects. And then there's like the secondary educators who like, I'm secondary, like I know mathematics, like, that's my area. Do I know other things? Yes, but that was my focus. But anyway, so going through that process, it wasn't right. And it ended up being worse than what it was. And the house ended up going into we allowed the house to go into foreclosure. Foreclosure isn't a horrible thing, people. I used to think that and feel ashamed, but people do it all the time. Now, I'm not saying that if something happened, circumstances in your life and the house ended up going to foreclosure because you couldn't pay for it or things like that, that's different. But I know a lot of wealthy people who let things go into foreclosure, but that's not my area of expertise, so I'm not going to talk about it. But we were advised to do that, and it was a strategy behind it, but then it was just something else that was not from that particular lawyer, it was another one. But this one, because I knew this particular lawyer, because I wanted to handle everything on my own and not have my grandmother help me, because I'm like, I'm grown, I have this PhD, I know how to do things, right? So I didn't want my grandmother to like pay for the house or use the money my grandfather left her. I was like, look, you live, that's you, I'll figure it out. And a lot of different things, but anyway, ended up not having the house anymore. And when I finally talked to this other real estate lawyer, he was telling me all the things that should have been done, how this didn't happen, all of those things. And I was like, oh my gosh, how could I have not known, to do that? How could I have not done my due diligence and ask certain questions of the second lawyer, the one who really, really helped me? How could I not do that? And that's because I trusted this person. And I'm not saying anything bad about that person, because I believe that they were doing what they knew at the time. They just wanted to help. But anyway, so I carried that a long time. It took me a long time because I used to say, I lost my mother's house. I lost my mother's house. And it was like, no, you did not lose your mother's house. You made the best decision that you could at the time. Because I felt really guilty. I felt really bad. I was like, why? It was like so many legal documents. And I was like, I knew the words, but it was like I didn't understand what it was saying, and I felt embarrassed because it's like I said, I just graduated with my PhD, but even it didn't take a PhD, and it was like I'm educated, I can read. What is the problem? So it took years for me to get over that, and how I got over that was I had to learn how to ask myself certain questions, and I went to this extreme. Because that's how I first started this exercise. But then I also use this exercise in any other situation, because sometimes we deal with regret, and I work hard not to deal with regret because it's gonna happen. Things happen, right? So 3 questions to think about when you've made a decision or you're trying to unhook yourself from that decision, because sometimes we stay hooked on decisions. In our professional life, we make decisions quicker, sooner, faster, And if they're not the right decision, we get over it fairly quickly. And a lot of professional women, educated women, high-level women that I talk to, they're like, oh yeah, made a mistake at work. Okay, big deal. Or, man, I may have lost this deal. It takes a little bit, but they jump right back into it. Personal wise, we wallow in some of these decisions for months, for years. We don't bounce back. We blame ourselves. We deal with regret. And I'm saying we, because I was like this too until I had to say, whoa, how am I able to do this at work? Or some people have their own businesses. How am I able to do this in my business, but I cannot do this in my personal life? And I've become big on transferring skills. I had a mindset coach, and she was like, Dr. V, transferable skills. Now, I talk about transferable skills all the time. But when it came to me and my life, I was like, I can't do this. And she was like, you did this over here. You can do this over here. Right? So it really is like that. I don't know why we separate the two. But we do. So I think because I think I know why, but I don't want this to get too long. All right. So the 3 questions is, did you have all the information or resources at the time? So in my case, at that particular time, I truly believed I had all of the information and resources, right? That's because I believe, like most of us, we don't get to certain stages in our lives by making outrageous decisions without really thinking and contemplating, right? And my mind is analytical and logical. So, and that was another reason why I struggled. It was like, whoa, I know I thought this out. And yes, you did. You thought it through. I'm talking about like a lot of decisions. Like sometimes we've made some decisions off the cuff, whatever. But even those off the cuff decisions, we made them based on the information or the resources that we had at the time. So when you ask yourself that and you can honestly say, yes, that's some grace. You ask yourself, and you should be able to feel, that is the information that I had at the time. That's how I made the decision. All right. The next question, or it could have been, I didn't have all of the information, and that's why I made the decision. I had to do what I had to do. I didn't know that this particular lawyer didn't know that part of real estate. I found that out, kind of after the fact when things were a mess, right? But at that time, that was the information that I had. So you can give yourself grace on both ends. And then what was the real reason you made the decision? I think that's what I wrote. My thing, you know how I do spell check and correct. I think it was the real reason, because I typed my notes out. I should have paid attention to that. I said, but what was the real reason you made the decision? Were you coming from a place of hurt, guilt, shame, anger, all of that, right? And in most cases, like for this situation, I made the decision because it was ego-based, but I didn't name it ego-based at the time. I really thought I was helping my grandmother. I really thought I was making the best decision. My sister was away in college. I believe she was away in college at the time. It was her last year, or she was wrapping up, or something like that. She didn't want to come back home because she had just graduated college, and that was too much for her. So I made the decision thinking I didn't want to be a burden to everyone else. So at the time, that was the reason. But looking back, it was part of ego, because I was like, I don't need anybody's help. I don't want anybody's help. I should be able to do this by myself. But at the time, I made it because I didn't want to be a burden to anyone else. I thought I could figure it out. I thought I was coming from a good place. That was the reason why I made the decision. And it says, knowing what you know now, would you make the same decision? And some people say, Some people say, yes, I would have done the same thing because I wouldn't have been this person now. And that part is true. But going back, knowing the information that I know, of course, I wouldn't have made the same decision. And I can say that and still feel great about myself and I've released that burden. So no, I wouldn't have made the same decision, and I'm perfectly fine with that. Think about other areas of your life. If you were in a relationship that didn't go so well, but at the time you thought you had all the information about that person, the way they presented themselves, or the time that you spent, you got to, know this person for what they showed you. I mean, even if you took the time to observe them, like how, you just thought that was a good person. And then if you decided to stay and you didn't see some signs, and then all of a sudden it just went all the way left, and then you decided to go, and then that's like someone asking you, would you have dated that person again, knowing what you know now? If they threw me, down a flight of stairs, but I didn't notice, I thought they were a good person and all this, and then something triggered them, and I end up down the stairs, no, I wouldn't have dated this person knowing that I knew I was going to go down the flight of stairs. I don't care how resilient it made me after the fact. It's a no. But then on the other side to that, if it was just like a heartbreak, we all don't want to experience heartbreak, but if we know that we really did have a great time with this person, we grew with this person, it just didn't work out, and you became a better person on the other side of that, I'll be honest. I'll probably say, knowing all of that, I probably would go back and date the person, because maybe we could have worked out. Maybe it was something that, the person that I am now would have been a great person for that person in the relationship. I hope that made sense. So this is really not talking about so much having regret. Actually, you know what? Because we're live, let's see if I want to make sure. Hold on, let me do this real quick. While I'm doing this, I have this Harvard hat on. And I remember I did this Facebook post on my personal page about how they did Dr. Cornel West. They didn't want to give him his tenure and all of that. And that happens a lot. Like, I could go in on what happens in the ivory tower. And then people are like, oh, people want to cancel stuff. And what I was going to say. Oh, yeah. So it was like, I didn't want to wear my hat because I was like, man, I'm kind of done with higher ed, or how they treat certain people, especially people of color, women of color, through the process. But then it was like, it's Harvard. And this is not everyone, but I know for me, once I finally accepted the fact that I was a college professor, one of my goals was to do a stint or a residency or a visiting position at Harvard. Because I don't care what people say, having Harvard on your vita or resume that you were a visiting professor in any Ivy League, it doesn't have to be Harvard, but any Ivy League, that can open a lot of doors, and just by name alone. So regardless if you went there to teach how to do hand puppets, all the people are going to see is that you were a faculty member at Harvard, right? So I have the hat on because part of building brilliance awareness, Harvard is brilliant, whether that was by branding, whether it's by history, it is what it is. All right. So regret, I looked it up. It says, feel sad, repented, or disappointed over something that has happened or been done, especially a loss or a missed opportunity. A feeling of sadness, repentance, disappointment. Okay. So the reason why I say not being regretful. In the moment, will you feel sad or disappointed over a situation or a missed opportunity or things like that? You may. But the reason why I say I don't live in regret, or I don't want to think about it so much, is because our heads can be spinning so much over there. And we really will miss opportunities because we're trying to go back and fix a situation that has already happened. When I went through those 3 questions, it allowed me to breathe and not feel like I missed an opportunity. One, whatever God has for me is going to come. That doesn't mean I can sit here and wait for it to just fall out the sky, but God knew that those days were going to happen. Did I get it all right? No, he knew I didn't get it all right. Are some opportunities going to come back? I don't know. They may or may not, but if I'm feeling sad and disappointed over something that has already left or something that has already happened, then I won't be able to move forward, or I'm going to start approaching every situation. And that's what happened with me. I had to really get over it, because that's why, to purchase my own house, I had the fear of, but what if I lose it? What if it gets taken away from me? What if I don't make the right decision? So I had to go through a lot of work and say, whoa. One situation doesn't have anything to do with the other. We had to let some things go. We had to work on some areas, because you can't, no. So if you find yourself not able to make certain decisions, just sit for a minute. And like I told the client, go back and trace a thought. Don't get too deep by yourself. I heard someone say, I don't like to play in my head without adult supervision. So, but I'm just saying, some stuff like that, just go back and find the root. And then you'll be able to see something that happened over here relates to a decision that you have to make over here. Go through those questions, release yourself, and keep it moving. All right, so that's what I have for you. In case you want to know those 3 questions again, really quickly. Did you have all the information or resources at the time? What was the real reason you made the decision? And knowing what you know now, would you make the same decision? Only you can answer those questions. The 2 people could go through a similar situation, and one say I would do it again, and some say I wouldn't. You just have to be great and good and confident in the decision that you made for yourself, both professionally and really more so personally, because we can do all of this stuff like that in our professional lives. Honestly, we go through these questions subconsciously in our professional lives. I believe we do. I know I have. When I had to sit there and think about it, that's how we're able to bounce back so quickly at work. Most of us. But we don't do that in our personal lives. All right, so that was part 1 of Building Brilliance Awareness. You always know that I do a part 2, and it's talking about my supplements. I've been looking at my cart. I am also a distributor. I have an e-commerce business. I am excited. That is another stream of income for me, but it was also more about getting myself together, up-leveling my health and wellness, honestly, up-leveling my health and wellness. I love the products, and then about a couple of weeks in, maybe if it was a whole month, I was like, you know what, I've asked God for another stream, something that was sort of outside of my comfort zone, but that could still flow with my overall vision and mission of my life. And this opportunity came to me, and I jumped right on in. It was almost like business in a box. People have had different levels of success. I've never done anything like this before, so I'm learning the system. Some people come in and skyrocket at the top. I didn't skyrocket, but I am progressing, and I am really enjoying the person who I am becoming because I took the step and started this e-commerce side. So not only am I a distributor, but I take it, right? And I do this on camera all the time, or you'll see it in a story, because people always want to know, how does it taste? What does it do? And all of that. And people are like, well, can you just send us the link? Well, the point of this is relationship building. Not like we have to be besties, but I really want to know, do you have any questions about the products? What the best way to help you save? I want to know about your results. I want to walk with you on your journey. Do you have to tell me everything? No, but I would love updates and pictures. Customers now, they send me pictures and updates and testimonials, and I hold them and I slowly release them. But I just love seeing the excitement and the growth of my customers. All customers don't do that, but the ones that do, I love it. And then we don't just want to send you out there to the site, because it can be overwhelming. It is not just supplements. This is a whole clean living, health and wellness company. So they have everything from skincare to weight management products to cleaning products for your house, and laundry detergent and stuff like that. And then I think I said skincare. So oral care, like personal care. So yeah, it's a lot. So if I just say, here go the link, you'd be like, what? So that's why we just don't throw it out there. And plus, you get $10 off for trying the products. You get $10 off for trying them when you use my code. And then when you become a customer, you get your own code and you can get $10 off every time someone uses your code. So you are sharing the love. It really is called sharing the love. And we know people, they don't want to be on the e-commerce side because the e-commerce side is good. I think I'm going to talk about that only for the last few days of building brilliance awareness. But we know customers who get their products for free because they just keep sharing their code with people, and they keep getting the $10 back and the 25% back, and they end up essentially getting products for free, right? So I think it's a win-win. All right, this is my fat burning pudding. Burns from the inside out, not like burn, but slowly melts away the deep layers of fat and really works to sculpt and tone your body. People who have a dedicated regimen of working out, they see faster results. People who are like, on the fence, hit or miss, they still see results. It just takes a little longer. This is lemon. It's a little tangy, a little tart, similar to lemon meringue. I started with mango. That was a little tart as well, but I liked it. Then I take liquid collagen. I'm excited to finally finish a full bottle. I started with the basic formula, but then gave my grandmother half that bottle because she wanted to try it. Now I do skin. And again, this is liquid collagen, highest grade in the world. It has hyaluronic acid in it, which means that it helps plump your skin even more. Same thing with the liquid, the fat burning pudding. It also has collagen in it and hyaluronic HA. Y'all know that word. And it all about bringing moisture to your skin from the inside out. That's how I like to think about it, right? And this one is, people say it's sweet. Maybe it's still a little tart to me because I had the lemon in there, but it has a lot of different fruit extracts in it. And like anything else, we tell people, look up the ingredients and all of that to make sure that, there's nothing in there that will hinder your health, especially people who have certain diagnoses or taking certain medications. Do your due diligence, of course. But for most people, for a lot of people, we haven't heard any issues, or if it's something like very minor, they didn't like the taste of something, or that's pretty much it. It's been the taste. People, we haven't, now I don't know everything, but from what we've seen so far and from what my team has seen, the team I'm on, people do read the products and they make their decisions based off that. And then that's it. And then if you don't like the products, you try it, you don't like it, then you just don't have to order it anymore. Sometimes people make such a huge deal about, oh my gosh, I don't want to get stuck into that. And I was like that at first. That's why I didn't do my smart order ship the first time I did it, because I didn't know that I could change it up or cancel it. The person probably said it and I was like, my mom blocked it. But even if I did do that, I didn't have to keep doing it. I could just stop, make a decision. Some people talk about how expensive the product is. And expensive is relative. To some people, $3,000, not the products are not $3,000. This is just an example. The product, something can cost $3,000, and to some, it's like, oh my gosh, I would never spend that much money. That's a lot. To someone else, that's a drop in the bucket. That's like $30 to them. So expensive is relative. And then I heard someone on my team, she does her lives, and she is hilarious. And I go there for stories because she has her own team on top of being we're on a team together, and then she has her own. And she's like a beast at this, right? And I go there for the stories because she gets some interactions that I haven't gotten. I pray to Jesus I don't get them, but at least if they come my way, I would know how to handle them. So she was talking about how someone wanted to know if it tastes good, and it has to taste good for them to enjoy it. And then someone else was like, oh my gosh, the products are expensive. So for the person who said, who are all about the taste, you know, she was like, something that could literally help you and change your life. You're worried about the taste, and it's a tablespoon. You see, I only take a tablespoon of each. It's only a tablespoon. So she was like, if something is going to make me healthier and it's only a tablespoon, I don't really care how it tastes, because it's not like I'm saying drink a whole bottle or, you know, of this and do it multiple times a day. So I was like, man, you made a great point. She was like, you know, sometimes we let the small things block us. So then, and this is going to tie into the expensive part too. She was like, people who drink wine and take shots, a lot of that doesn't taste good, but you do it anyway. You know, shots don't taste good, you know, for the most part. You know, there are some that, you know, it can. But when she said that, I was like, that is so true. She was like, people take shots and you automatically see the face. Some people drink wine, like I love red wine, but it started off as an acquired taste because I remember like, that's nasty, you know? So I was like, that is so true. And we take sips and multiple shots, and it was like 1 tablespoon. So she's like, are you kidding me? She was like, it shouldn't matter. If it's going to change your life, it's going to help you get healthier, if it's going to help you lose the weight that you said you wanted to lose, there it is. And then in the same vein, she's talking about being expensive. She was like, when people buy liquor in the bottles or you know, high quality wine, they still drink that, and there is like really no benefits. You know, sometimes with the red wine it can be, but she's right. People spend 60, 70, hundreds, thousands of dollars on liquor. And Dr. Molly, I was just using your example. I'm wrapping up. I was just talking about how the tablespoon, the lady was saying how she wanted it to taste, and it didn't matter. But then I told you I was going to use it. And then we talk about you take shots, but then you don't worry about how it tastes. So yeah, and then now I was telling them about the price of alcohol, like wine or liquor. You'll spend money on that, but then when it comes to your health and wellness, you want to question the price of something. So, and I was telling them that, you know, because you are beast mode over there, I come over there to of course, hear the message that you give, but your stories on this e-commerce side are hilarious to me. But yeah, so I do that because just in case because I'm new to this, just before people come, I got some backup, you know, and things to share. So the last thing I do is take the probiotic. And it does taste like candy, and it works. It gets the things moving. So that's what I have for you. I just thought it was great to hear those stories. So, and that's anything in life, anything in your business, and that's what this business is teaching me. And I'm glad I came in contact with some great people, because in my other business, when people start talking about expensive, it's like you came to me and asked for help. I have a solution that you want. Either you're going to pay for my solution or you're going to go somewhere else. And it is what it is. Yes, I'm worth it. I will spend on my health. And that is so true. That's why I really got over here and started looking at the products, because I was looking for a way to up level my health. I purposely looked for high quality products. You know, I said that in a couple of my other videos. I used to go take the collagen. I used to go take the regular Walgreens vitamins and things like that. I used to take the fat burner pills that weren't formulated to be good. I did all of that, and it was like, I'm tired of this. I don't want to say it's low quality. It's just not the highest quality. And that's what I wanted to do in my life. That was a personal choice that I purposely sought that out. And you have to do the same for you. You know, it's up to you, but people who have invested in themselves and their bodies, they are seeing great results, and that is transferring into other areas of their lives. Because like I keep telling you, you can't be brilliant and broke down. People are always trying to cut corners. It doesn't work. You get nowhere doing that. It's low quality. Dr. Miles was like, you said what you said. Yes, it is low quality. You know, I was trying to be nice. I didn't want to offend anybody, but it is what it is. It is. And when I started researching, especially the collagen, and knowing that the collagen, and here I am thinking I'm fancy because I didn't go get it from like Walmart. I got it from like Home Goods. It was still the stuff in the back, you know, the leftover products, the products that were probably on its way out to be expired. So it is low quality. We don't know where the collagen came from and all of that. This company, you know, I'm a researcher, so I didn't just take this off the word of somebody who said it, even though I respected the person who I heard it from. I went to go research, and when I said the people are science-based, and I didn't know how technology could be integrated into the health and wellness industry, blew my mind. I was already sold. So high quality, that's how you do one thing is how you do everything. You don't have to go for these particular products, but just clean living, health and wellness all the way around. All right, so that's all I have for you. Thank you so much. There are links in my bio for you to connect with me directly on what we talked about earlier. And then for health and wellness, you can connect with me there to get started with your $10 off. I am Dr. V. Thank you so much for listening. Oh, don't run. People be calling me out, but it's so true. I got called out to make sure I keep doing my lives for this whole month. And Dr. Miles said, don't ride the line, choose a side. All right, it is what it is. We choose the side of excellence and wellness. Y'all know I'm going to keep saying that. Don't ride the line, choose the side of excellence and wellness. I love it. Okay, I'm Dr. V. Thank you so much for listening and watching with me. I'll see you next time. Go be brilliant. Bye.